Hi, Steve Brand here. We're down in Lower Delaware. We're going to head on out. This is a fairly large lake. It's probably one of the biggest lakes in the state of Delaware, which isn't saying much, but it's it's one of the bigger lakes. Just when we thought we had the bass figured out and they were getting ready to, they were about this close to going into their winter pattern. And then all of a sudden the temperatures went up. We're like 15 degrees above normal. We're in the upper 70s today, the whole week long. We've got a serious wind coming up though. It's been 15-20 mile an hour winds every day. We've got some a front coming through, some clouds moving in. It's going to rain probably today, tomorrow. Pretty hard tomorrow. So we're going to see if the bass are still in the same pattern that I found. I found them in a pattern where they were up in the shallows. You saw in the last video if you've been watching on Spinnerbaits. There's some monstrous trophy bass had a 5-fish limit of over 20 pounds. So I'm going to see if they're still in this pattern today. And then if they're not, I'm going to go after them and go looking for them, and then I'll explain to you, why they were where they are today and what we caught them on and everything like that. We've been throwing some Picasso spinnerbaits with Oklahoma blade, 1/2 ounce on 14 and 17 pound test Daiwa and Berkeley trilene line. Some fluorocarbon line is fine too, depending on how clear your water is. The bass have been trying to seek out more of a very stained and muddy water though, since they were shallow, but now that it's warmed up even more, who knows, they may even be in some of the clearer water in the pads on the points, on the wind-blown points and stuff too. So we're going to be interesting to see what's happening now that it's going up and down like this in the upper 70s. So we'll see you guys out on the water. Now we're getting ready to work the pads here where they hadn't been in a long time. And we're going to throw these two baits. Now this is the Picasso, that's a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait, and that's the Oklahoma blade, and this is a heart, that's a heart thumper. Right, and that's a combination. See those two blades, how they're actually together. Now we're going to see how they both produce, but there's one thing I want to tell you a little bit about these. Now I was changing the action. Sometimes you get into certain areas, you want this to have more of a vibration, and you can even make it like flutter down like helicoptering, it's called, where if it's a little deeper and you want it to helicopter off the edges. And the way I do that is I'll take this arm and I bend that arm out so that it's a wider profile, and that causes the blade to helicopter down rather than come through the water faster. Now if you want to work the pads, you're working vegetation, you want to move it a little quicker, you don't have all that resistance, I just bend those arms right back in again. Now you notice I've modified the skirt. That's a Strike King Perfect skirt. I changed the blade and swivels on that. I've really modified the bait. But all in all, it's still basically the same baits that you could use. So we're going to throw these in here now in these first set of pads. And we'll see you guys in a minute. Yeah. Skeet Reef Redemption, fluttering in down here off the chunk rock. Got the cloud cover moving in. It's about 70 degrees. That's a nice bass. Weighs 5 pounds. Good 5 pounds on that Skeet Reef Redemption. Nice bass. All right, let's get him off of here, and we'll get him back in. Yeah, it's nice. 4.5. 4.5.
Probably the same one you had on.
No. That's a real nice bass. See that?
All right.
4.
Look at that belly on it. Nice.
Now that's on the heart. We're throwing this up against these...
that's the heart thumper.
These marsh weeds. Hold that up against you. I'm going to sideways so you can see how big that really is. It's hard to tell when you hold them out. But see, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
See that in there? Right up against these marsh weeds. And I just had, you saw on Skip's video here, I just had that one on that was a good 4 pounds. There's a school of them. They're all stacked up in this grass, in these marsh weeds. They may be doing this all over. All stacked up in the marsh weeds. This is a Skeet Reef Redemption. They're hitting all the different spinnerbaits, like we were seeing on them. That's because, see, it's on his tail and on the sides. They're laying in the grass. All we have to do is go along, find all these places here like that that's shallow, where it's a lot of that thick grass near the marsh weeds, and you're going to bang them. Well, we're heading down to the next set of marsh weeds like that. Skip, tell us a little bit about that rod. That was a pretty good, nice rod you picked up yesterday, huh?
Yeah, it's a
Mojo bass rod by St. Croix, same, similar to the one I have, but yours is the, what, 7'6" model?
Right, medium heavy action and moderate fast tip.
Right, that's the one you just landed the bass on.
Right, it's a really nice rod. I like it. It's got good balance to it. I added the tennis over grip because I like that. It gives me more grip on the handle. But and I got the Daiwa Procast reel on there, which is pretty nice.
So tell them what's been happening today so far.
Well, it's been interesting. You caught, what, 3 bass early on the spinnerbait, and one of them was 5 pounds plus. And that was great, out in open water near the areas where you caught them yesterday on that side, right?
Yeah.
Then we didn't find them in the pads where you did yesterday because the wind direction was different. They were all full of leaves, so they were hard to catch in there. But then we came over on this other side, and we got into a little school of them just now in the Phragmites marsh reeds. It was pretty cool. We had like 5 bites, didn't we, Steve?
Oh,
in
yeah.
about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I had a good 4 or 4.5 pounder hook too. I had the drag too tight, couldn't handle it.
Right, I think we caught 3 and you lost 1, so we had 4 bass on right in there.
Yeah, it was an actual school. That was it was exciting.
Yeah, that was cool. All on spinnerbait, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't find them in the numbers like before, but it was a lot of fun. We caught in some big fish, got into that school of fish like you saw. That was pretty cool, and a couple of them were pretty nice. So we used those Hart spinnerbaits, we used the Skeet Reese Redemption, and we used the Picasso in Oklahoma. 7-foot rods, we used St. Croix rod, and we used the Veritas, and I used the Bass Pro Shops cranking stick. I've been using a Daiwa Millionaire 5.0 to 1 retrieve. I like that better for the spinnerbaits, and flipped the jig a little bit too. So we'll see what happens. Until next time, we'll see you guys down on the water.